Nikshitaika.
Tam Satyamanandanidhim Bhajeta.
Tam Satyamanandanidhim Bhajeta.
Nanya Prasadya Atma
Nanyatra Sajeta.
Sarvadeva Dyanabhuta Sarva
Sarvadivri Yanubhuta Sarva.
Atma Yata Svatnam Janekshitaika
Atma Svapna Nikshitaika.
Tam Satyamanandanidhim Bhajeta
Tam Satyamanandanidhim Bhajeta.
Nanya Prasadya Atma
Nanyatra Sajeta Atmavata.
Sarvadi Dritya Anubhuta Sarva
Sarvadivri Yanubhuta Sarva.
Atma Yata Swapna Janekshitaika
Atma Yata Swapna Janekshitaika.
Tam Satyamananda Nidhim Bhajeta
Tam Satyamanandanidhim Bhajeta.
Nanyatra Sajjad Yata Atmapata
Nanyatra Sajeta Atmavata.
Sarvadi Vrityanubhuta Sarva
Sarvadivri Yanubhuta Sarva.
Atma Yata Svapna Janekshitaika
Atma Yata Swapna Janekshitaika.
Satyamananda Nidhim Bhajita
Tam Satyamanandanidhim Bhajeta.
Tasajiryata Atma Pata
Nanyatra Sajeta Atmavata.
Sa
Sa.
He,
He.
the Supreme Person.
The Supreme Person.
Sarvadivati,
Sarvadiviti.
the process of realization by all sorts of intelligence.
The process of realization by all sorts of intelligence.
Anubhuta,
Anubhuta.
cognizant.
Cognizant.
Sarve,
Sarve.
everyone.
Everyone.
Atma,
Atma.
the Supersoul.
The Super Soul.
Yata,
Yata.
as much as.
As much as.
Svapnajana,
Swapnajana.
a person dreaming.
Person dreaming.
Ikshita,
Ikshita.
seen by.
Seen by.
Eka,
Eka.
one and the same.
One and the same.
Tam,
Tam.
unto him.
Unto him.
Satyam,
Satyam.
supreme truth.
Supreme truth.
Ananda Didim,
Ananda.
yes. Vijaya,
Vijaya.
must one worship.
Must one worship.
Na,
Na.
never.
Never.
Anyatra,
Anyatra.
anything else. Sajit,
Sajit.
be attached.
Be attached.
Yata,
Yata.
whereby.
Whereby.
Atmapata,
Atmapata.
degradation of oneself.
Degradation of oneself.
This looks like it's going to be an interesting translation. And purport. By His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just as ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams. One must concentrate the mind on Him, the only all-blissful absolute truth. Otherwise, one will be misled and will cause his own degradation. So this is really the last step in this chapter. This nice verse. Nice way to end this chapter. Report. In this verse, the process of devotional service is indicated by the great Goswami Srila Sukadeva. He tries to impress upon us that instead of diverting our attention to several branches of self-realization, we should concentrate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the supreme object of realization, worship, and devotion. Self-realization is, as it were, offering a fight for eternal life against the material struggle for existence, and therefore, by the illusory grace of the external energy, the yogi or the devotee is faced with many allurements which can entangle a great fighter again in the bondage of material existence. The illusory grace. That's a pretty interesting one. A yogi can attain miraculous successes in material achievements such as anima, logima, by which one can become more minute than the minutest, or lighter than the lightest, or in the ordinary sense, one may achieve material benedictions in the shape of wealth and women. But one is warned against such allurements, because entanglement again in such illusory pleasure pleasure means degradation of the self and further imprisonment in the material world. By this warning, one should follow one's vigilant intelligence only. The Supreme Lord is one, and his expansions are various. He is therefore the super soul of everything. When a man sees anything, he must know that his seeing is secondary, and the Lord's seeing is primary. One cannot see anything without the Lord's having first seen it. That is the instruction of the Vedas and the Upanishads. So whatever, it's like they have the saying that Columbus discovered America. It's already here. He did discover, and there was already, I don't know how many Indians were here. I've heard that there was a lot of Indians here. Or we again stole it. So whatever we see or do, the super soul of all acts of seeing or doing is the Lord. This theory of simultaneously oneness and difference between the individual soul and the super soul was propounded by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the philosophy of Achintya Beta Beta Tattva. The Rupa, or the gigantic feature of the Supreme Lord, includes everything materially manifested, and therefore the Virat, or gigantic feature of the Lord, is the super soul of all living and non-living entities. But the Virat Rupa is also the manifestation of Narayan or Vishnu, and going further on and on, one will eventually see that Lord Krishna is the ultimate super soul of everything that be. The conclusion is that one should unhesitatingly become a worshipper of Lord Krishna, or for that matter, his plenary expansion, Narayan, and none else. In the Vedic hymns, it is clearly said that first of all, Narayan cast a glance over matter, and thus there was creation. Before creation, there was neither Brahma nor Shiva, and what to speak of others. Sripad Sankaracharya has definitely accepted this, that Narayan is beyond the material creation, and that all others are within the material creation. The whole material creation, therefore, is one with and different from Narayan, simultaneously. And this supports the Achintya Beta Beta Tattva philosophy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Being an emanation from the glancing potency of Narayan, the whole material creation is non-different from him. But because it is the effect of his external energy, Bahiranga Maya, and is aloof from the internal potency, Atmamaya, the whole material creation is different from him at the same time. The example given in this verse very nicely is that the dreaming man creates many things in his dream, and thus he himself becomes the entangled seer of the dream, and is also affected by the consequences. This material creation is also exactly a dreamlike creation of the Lord, but he, being the transcendental supersoul, is neither entangled nor affected by the reactions of such a dreamlike creation. He is always in his transcendental position, but essentially he is everything, and nothing is apart from him. As a part of him, one should therefore concentrate on him only, without deviation. Otherwise, one is sure to be overcome by the potencies of the material creation one after another, It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.7 as follows: Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Hamikam Kapakshe Saye Punastani Kapadha Vishrajam Yaham. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, every material manifestation enters into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I again create. The human life, however, is an opportunity to get out of this repetition of creation and annihilation. It is a means whereby one may escape the Lord's external potency and enter into his eternal or internal potency. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the second canto, first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The First Step in God Realization. And the next chapter, 4 parts. Om Gyanatamananda Shyaginan Sangasalakaya Sakshan Vidal Dinatas My Shri Gurave Namam Rupam Kotivacharan Pamunam Devi. Yanapantala Hamande Shri Guru Dinatari Sanchikapa Vista Vipasan Devi Chapatana Lang Vaishnav. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Translation: one should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of God, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations. Just as ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams, one must concentrate the mind on him, the only, all blissful, absolute truth. Otherwise, one will be misled, cause his own degradation. Very nice verse. We've all had dreams, and sometimes the dreams appear so real. Remember, I've had dreams. I'm thinking, "Why, I hope this is a dream." In the dream, I'm thinking, "I hope this is a dream," because they appear so real, isn't it? And then you wake up, oh, it's just a dream. So this human form of life is a very good dream, and we would really think that we're American, and this and that. I mean, we really think it. It's a pretty amazing dream. That's what it is. It's a dream. And the goal of this human form of life is to get out of this dream, because we've had many dreams. We've been in the body of dogs, cats, bears, and it's all a big dream. Now we've entered into another dream. It lasts longer than the dreams that we have at night, but it's a dream. We want to get out of this dream state and go, as Prabhupada mentions in the last chapter. It is a means by which one may escape the Lord's external potency, the big dream, and enter into his internal potency. So this is the goal. And this goal is achieved by engaging in devotional service. This is the way to escape the dream. And in the Nectar Devotion, it's stated that there's characteristics of this pure devotional service. It immediately puts one in transcendental pleasure, not the so-called pleasures of this world, which are, what does Krishna say? Yehi sam sparsha jamboga dukayonaya evati adyantamantakoni tesuramate. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which is due to contact with material senses. Such pleasures have a beginning and an end. That's material pleasure. Beginning and an end. And in between, suffering. So much suffering is there in so-called pleasure, material pleasure. But spiritual pleasure is ever increasing. It's described that when Krishna sees that his devotee is so nicely serving him, then he reciprocates. and he gives pleasure to such a devotee. And the devotee, upon feeling such joy in Krishna consciousness, he wants to please Krishna more. And then Krishna, upon seeing this devotee advancing, so he wants to give him more, and it just goes on, unlimited. This is real pleasure. This is real pleasure. Not this pleasure where it comes to a certain level and it just decreases. This is material pleasure. So this is the illusion. So this is the one of the characteristics of devotional service. One immediately experiences transcendental pleasure. Another characteristic is it's very rare. Pure devotional service is very rare. Although Prabhupada was very generous. Someone asks, how many pure devotees are there in our society, Prabhupada? So how many devotees are there? Well, there's about 150. There's about 150 pure devotees. It's very generous. So, but to actually be a pure devotee, rare. Anyavilasita sunyam jnana karmanyana anupiyena krishna siddhana bhakti. The pure devotional service means completely devoid of all material desires. Is free of the desire to enjoy the fruits of activity. It's free of mental speculation. So it's we're shooting for the, as Prabhu, shooting for the rhino. Someone tries to shoot a rhino and kill a rhino, and he's not able to do it. Wow, what do you expect people to do that? If someone does, like, wow, he did it. So it's a big thing. It's like, wow, he did it. He made it to pure devotional service. It's a big thing. And actually, this is the goal. This should be the goal of everyone in the world, is to obtain this pure devotional service. But yeah, rare it is. It's also it's pure devotional service is all auspicious. The most auspicious thing happening in the creation is pure devotional service. Because by pure devotional service, not only is one helping oneself, but naturally when one is engaged in pure devotional service, one wants to help others. It's like it's common, we meet people on book distribution, they say, well, why are you doing this? What do you say? Say that when they ask.
Help people.
Trying to help. Yeah, I tell them, I got something nice. I got this book, Bhagavad Gita. It's so nice. And it completely changed my life. So I want to share a good thing with others. Try to help people. So it's the most auspicious thing. When we're on book distribution, we're in the safest position in the universe. Because this is what pleases Krishna the most. This is what pleases Prabhupada the most. He said, if you want to please me, distribute books. So we should know that we're in a very, very, very good position. And that's good. We're all Sankirtan devotees here, so this is a good thing to say to all the Sankirtan devotees. Because, yeah, this actually Prabhupada, he emphasized book distribution so much. Sometimes the devotee asks, well, where do you get your inspiration from? Reading Prabhupada's book. Throughout Prabhupada's books, he's expressing the importance. Isn't it? Doesn't specifically say book distribution, a couple places, but preaching, giving the message out. So it's so important. And if we continue, Prabhupada said, if you distribute books to your last breath, I guarantee you, Lord Chaitanya will take you right back home back to God. When I heard that, I was like, all right, might as well go for it. We've wasted so many lives doing all kinds of nonsense, isn't it? Just, how many lives? Geez, could be millions, just wasted. And now we have this opportunity, this glorious opportunity to become a pure devotee and to help others in their journey of life. So yeah, we should really as much as possible, distribute books, and if possible, give our life. Prabhupada, he wanted that to give our life. He did. Right to his last breath, he's still preaching. It made it so glorious. So another characteristic is it's beyond the conception of liberation. This is real liberation. To engage in pure devotional service. This is the highest. There's no higher. There's yogis that can go pretty high, but most of them they're impersonalists. I was just listening to Prabhupada lecture. He said they say soham, that I am that person. I am that supreme person. Prabhupada said qualitatively they can. We're qualitatively one, but not quantitatively. Prabhupada said, then why are you an illusion? Oh, this is Leela. Leela. So that means illusion is greater. Krishna. So Prabhupada said, my Leela is I'm going to kick you in the head. So another characteristic is it's the only way to attract Krishna. It's the only thing that attracts Krishna. It's like we have this Islamic like that if one offers to me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I'll accept it. Krishna doesn't need fruit or leaf, but he's very attracted to devotion. This is like a magnet. Like a magnets are attracted to iron. So Krishna's attracted, very much attracted to devotion. So in order for us to achieve that devotion, we got to become attached to Krishna. Lord Chaitanya said this is one of the two reasons why it's difficult to engage in pure devotional service, because we got to be attached to Krishna. Now we're attached to so many other things. We got to become attached to Krishna, and detached from this body. This is the main attachment. Then people, they get married and they become attached to the wife. They become attached to the children, and attached to the home. Pupsakstriyam between bhav mitang mato. Pupsakstriyam between bhav mitang mato.
Atobhyakshetra sutapavitaya
Janasya moho yam ahamameti. So one becomes attached to all these things. We get more and more entangled. We make it more and more difficult to escape the material world. So as much as possible, we should be attached to Krishna. And this is such a nice purport. Prabhupada, he says, self-realization is, as it were, offering a fight for eternal life against the material struggle for existence, and therefore the illusory grace, it's an amazing statement, the illusory grace, the grace of the illusory energy of the external, the yogi or the devotee is faced with many allurements which can entangle a great fighter, again, in the bondage of material existence. So sometimes the illusory energy gives us some suffering, which is actually a great benediction. It's such a great benediction that it's like Queen Kunti, she prays, please give me more difficult, keep it coming. Because that's the opportunity to think of Krishna. And this is the goal, as Prabhupada mentions here. And it's in the Sukadeva Goswami. So the goal is to concentrate our mind on Krishna. just completely fixate our mind on Krishna. Keep the transcendental vibration going. I love that statement. Just no nonsense vibration, no garbage. A lot of garbage in this world. Kala Kalira Balina Indriya Vairi Varga Sri Bhakti Marga Proposal under Saraswati, he says, in this age of Kali, our enemies, our great enemies, the senses, great stumbling blocks on this path. And if you're not merciful to me, Lord Chaitanya, then what will I do? Where will I go? I'll be confused. Please be merciful to me. So this is these are great stumbling blocks. And the path, he goes on to say, and the path of bhakti is spiked by millions of thorny obstacles. In Kali Yuga, it's like, very difficult to surrender to Krishna. But what does Krishna say? Machita sarvadgyan maprasada trishasi tachatan ahankaram nasosasi anashasi. He says, if you become conscious of me, you cross over all the obstacles, millions of them. If, however, you act out of false ego, not hearing me, then lost. Nobody likes to get lost. You know, there was an amazing experience I had on book distribution, where I approached this young man, and you know, so where are you from? I don't know. I wrecked my bike, and my memory is completely gone. I don't know my name. I don't know where I live. Imagine. I mean, that's pretty lost. Very uncomfortable situation. Actually, there's a devotee. Devotee told me about this. So he was very kind. This devotee was very kind, and he took him under his wing, and he trained him up. He didn't know who he was, so the devotee said, well, I'll tell you who you are. You're the eternal servant of Krishna. So he thought, well, good. Now I know something at least. He became a book distributor. And he helped others also get out of the lost condition. Omkar. You know Omkar?
Oh, that was Omkar?
That's Omkar. Yeah, that's that big joy. By the grace of the illusory energy, he wrecked his bike. And met a devotee. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So it's the grace of the illusory energy. You know, stopping is that it's actually it's a great blessing. So many devotees join because of major reversal in their life. How many here? Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, it's a blessing in disguise. I met a person just a couple of days ago that he was he went through some major health problems, almost died of cancer, but he pulled through, and he said it was the best thing that happened to me, because before that happened, I was so depressed, I was suicidal. But when that happened to me, then I started thinking, what is this all about? What is life about? And he met some spiritual people, and he got a Bhagavad Gita. He took some books from me also, but he said that was the best thing that ever happened to him, because now I'm happy. Now I'm more thoughtful, and I have so many friends. So yeah, those are good things. That's why Sesika once said, "Don't waste a good reversal."
Mm-hmm.
They're good. Just like this COVID-19. They had it huge on Sankirtan here. Right? They were doing on online book distribution. They did huge. Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, it's a blessing in disguise. And the last one is by pure devotional service one becomes free of distress. Nobody likes to be distressed. But the material world, it's booby trapped. It's booby trapped. You know this word booby trapped? Booby trapped means, you know how in war they put mines out there. And people, the soldiers, they walk on the mine called booby traps. So you're just walking along, boom. My God, what's that? You know, blessing in disguise. Eh? But it can be the material world. Yeah. It's amazing that it's a blessing when there's distress, but then we don't want the distress. We don't want it, but it's a blessing. But in the spiritual world, when we become pure devotees, go to the spiritual world, we don't need that anymore. Now the booby traps are good because it wakes us up. But in pure devotional service, one becomes free of he transcends distress. Just like Queen Kunti, she transcends. It's good. It's all good. For a devotee, it's all good. Whatever happens, it's good. Therefore, there's this verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, "Oh, hand me a Bhagavad Gita." Such a nice verse. Having a senior moment. Labante Brahma Nirvana, Visiksin Kamsa, China Dvaitya Tatmya, Sarvabhuta Hitirvita. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubt. See, when you begin, in other words, if you get beyond dualities, then it's all good. Dualities mean, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is cold, this is hot, this is duality. But when we engage in pure devotional service, everything is good because we're in the hands of Krishna. So Krishna's making all kinds of wonderful arrangements. Sometimes we can't see it, but we should have faith that whatever Krishna arranges, it's good. Now, if we don't have that faith, well, why is Krishna doing this to me? I've heard devotees say this before. Even they've been practicing for decades. Why is Krishna doing this to me? Anyway, he's your father. He's your friend. He's doing it for your own good. He's doing whatever has happened is being done for our own good. So you transcend dualities. Wouldn't that be nice? Be completely transcendental to dualities. Well, in this world, we can be not of this world. Transcend this world. Just by understanding that Krishna's taking care of us. He always has our best interest at heart. And he's in control of everything. Right? He has our best interest at heart and he's in control of everything. So therefore, whatever he arranges is for our good, to help us grow in spiritual life. Just like a professor in the university, he's given the students all these tests and they get harder every time. And some student that's not very bright, he might think, well, doesn't he like me? Why is he making them so hard? But no, he wants the student to get better in the subject. Right? If they don't if the questions aren't more difficult, then he stays stagnant. He can't grow. He can't learn more. So Krishna, he's given tests to help us. So we should always have this faith in Krishna. It's such a beautiful verse. Those who are beyond the dwellers that arise from doubt, whose minds are engaged within, always thinking of Krishna, as Prabhupada mentions here in the purport, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and at the same time, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings and who are free from sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme. What a beautiful verse. Couple minutes left. Is there any question, comment, or correction? Or, yes,
How can we, where can we find more people who are lost? Because
there's a lot of them out there.
uh, at least to me, it looks like that a lot of people, they seem to be much more comfortable than us.
Comfortable in that?
More comfortable than us.
In what sense?
So let's say, you know, the advancing of your education, their body is strong, and they feel much more comfortable.
So, advancement in education, are you serious? I think he's being a devil's advocate. Because they're going backwards, if anything. I mean, now in the university, I'll tell you an interesting thing that happened. A friend of mine who was going to the university, and the professor said, I don't want any God in this room. I don't want anybody to mention, I mean, full on atheist. Yeah. And he told his mother that, and they're all devotees. The mother and father are all devotees, and they decided, all right, we're moving up there with him. This is in the Bay Area. He was going to school there, so we're moving up because we don't want you need to associate because at that time I guess in ISV here wasn't such a big. It was back in the 90s. So yeah, I met one professor of religion at the university. So I asked him, so do you believe in God? And he said, no. The professor of religion. I said, did you believe in God before you started your studies to be a religious professor? He said, yeah. That's modern education. A person comes to study to become a religious professor and becomes an atheist after going through the system. They're very systematic. They're trying to get people away from God. So this is our educational situation. You know, when I joined, or when I started going to school, we used to pray to God. But they took it out. There was one lady that protested the Supreme Court, and she won. God was taken out of the school because one atheistic lady. Such a demoness. Yeah.
Wasn't it that, so that devotee, he was amnesic. He forgot who he was. And I know who you are. You're a servant of Krishna, engaged in devotional service. And then at a certain point, said, I'd like to know what I used to be, who am I?
Yeah.
So they did some research, put up posters. If anyone knows this person, and finally said, yeah, I know that person. They came forward and finally they found out his identity. And he was an atheist before he met the devotee.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic,
Yeah, he had someone take a picture and he put flyers around the school.
Yeah.
I have amnesia. If you know me, then call us know me. And yeah, I found out who his parents were and everything. Yeah, I found he was an atheist. So Krishna just covered that up. Amazing. the illusory mercy. the mercy of the illusory energy. Yes.
You mentioned that sometimes even devotees who practicing for a long time, they lose Krishna out of sight, or Krishna's attractive features out of sight. And I'm trying to relate to why it happens. If you could maybe
Offenses. So we have to be very careful. Therefore, we chant these 10 offenses. We have to be careful. Humility goes a long way. Therefore, part of that Shikshashtaka Chanala Pisani Chena Turur Pisa Hisnamana Namani Kirtani. Think myself lower than the straws, be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of falseness, and ready to offer all respects to others without desire and respect. There's one period in my devotional career that I was feeling a little proud. So I started chanting this verse in between each round, Janata Pisi Chena, for some time. And I thought, all right, I'm humble again. It's okay. But humility, so important. Therefore, we're hearing again and again from this hearing Bhagavad Gita, chanting our rounds, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. All this helps us remember that we're very small, and that Krishna's great, and that we're very small. We should, yes, that service attitude, not only to Krishna but to Krishna's devotees. This helps us to keep that humility. It's the crown jewel of devotional service, humility.
Yeah, another question. In your experience in devotional practice, what helped you the most in understanding that Krishna is non-different from evil in his whole
non-different than
from his whole need?
I'm still trying to understand that. That Krishna is non-different than his name. But practice makes perfect. Keep practicing, eventually you get that realization. We mentioned it a couple of days ago. There's some new people here. Prabhupada was in a devotee's class. Imagine you're giving class and Prabhupada's sitting listening to you. That'll make you a little nervous, huh? So a devotee, he said that Krishna isn't in his name. And Prabhupada said, oh, where in Krishna's name is he? Krishna is not in his name. Krishna is his name. So the devotee said, oh, okay. Thanks, Prabhu. So yeah, Krishna is subtle, and his name is subtle. So the more we understand our subtle existence, that we're the soul within, that we're not this body, we're not this gross body, we're the subtle soul within, the more we'll be able to understand. Actually, it's described that Krishna is the most subtle. The soul is also subtle. Krishna is the most subtle. He's everywhere. He's everywhere, but who can see Krishna? It's Krishna. Okay, we've gone over a little bit, so we'll stop. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada, ki jai.
I was talking about
So after the kirtan, we're going to have a
Thank you,
short
dear devotees.
East Agosti.